Now imagine preparing for months for an exam that could shape your future or has the power of shaping your future and doing everything right from following due process to paying the fees, showing up only to be told that there's nothing we can do for you. Our next story shines a spotlight on access, dignity and inclusion in Nigeria's education and health training systems. Registered nurse UcheOlivia was diagnosed with optic nerve atrophy, a condition that affects her vision, in 2024. But that diagnosis didn't stop her from pursuing her dream of post-basic training in psychiatric and mental health nursing. And she applied to the School of Psychiatry and Mental Health Nursing at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Enugu State. Now, despite formally requesting accommodations like bold print papers, extra time, or a reader, she was dismissed, mocked, and ultimately denied the chance to sit the examination because her school refused her reasonable support. And she joins us live now. UcheOlivia, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you for coming on. This is a very timely and important discussion, and thank you for taking out the time to join us, Kat.
All right, Uche, so straight into it. You were very open about your condition before the exam. Can you explain optic nerve atrophy in simple terms and how it affects your daily life?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
The optic nerve is one of the nerves in the body that connects your eye to your brain, basically interpreting every single image you see. Then when an atrophy occurs, there is a degeneration or breaking down of that nerve. And sadly, it is one of the nerves in the body that does not regenerate when it is broken down. So when this happens, your brain can no longer interpret things. You lose a certain part or percentage of your vision. And this really, really makes moving around, reading, and even recognizing places and people very, very difficult. And so far, sadly, there has not been any cure for this medical condition. All you get is to halt the progression or slow it down.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, you might have to lose your vision right away.
Wow. Okay, so Uche,
Yeah.
now, before the exam, you said you informed the school about your vision impairment through the student union government. It's through the student union government president twice. So what exactly did you communicate to them? And at that point in time, how did they respond?
Fortunately, the SUG president at that time, we attended the same school. He was my junior in school, but he was the SUG president of the school at that time. And I communicated to him that I am visually impaired, and I explained what that condition had to do. And I also mentioned that he should inform the school before the examination, and I'll be needing some help. And he asked what. I mentioned that they either make my exam questions in bold prints, or they assign a reader to me, or they allocate an extra time to me. And that was before the examination day. Then, on the day of the exam, I had gone with him to meet two other examiners. And from their conversation, he said, "This is the lady I informed you about," meaning he had already informed them prior to the exam date.
So when the exam finally started, none of the promised support was provided, right? And then at what point did you then realize that you were on your own, you know, in writing these exams, and that, you know, you had to find a way to make it work by yourself?
Just when the exam commenced, I got my question paper, and it was same as every other person. And I said, oh, probably they want to assign an examiner to me, or even give me an extra time. Then I called one of the examiners. I called her attention, and I explained that I had already informed them prior. And she said, I asked if I could get an examiner to read out the questions for me, or if they would be willing to give me an extra time. And she said, if you knew you were not able to see, why did you go? Close your eyes. And then she repeated it again and walked away.
Uche repeats that. You were told what?
If you knew you were not able to read, why then did you come to school?
How did that statement make you feel?
At that moment.
I started crying. I broke down. I broke down. That has to be the most heartbreaking thing I've heard since my diagnosis. Not even when the doctor said, oh, there is nothing we can do for you, broke me the way what she said did. It was quite painful.
Uche, we have to take a quick break. We'll pick up on this because she wasn't the only one who made a very unempathetic, uneducated comment to you in regards to this. And we'll pick up the conversation in just a moment. Stay with us. We're talking to Uche this morning, a young woman whose story has made it online. After she was taking an exam, she had already informed the school that she had some visual impairments and was expecting support. Not only did she not get support, she got mockery. And she was told, why are you even here? So, Uche, I want to ask, after breaking down, after having that person in the exam hall tell you, if you knew you couldn't see or you knew you couldn't read, why are you in school? Yeah. You were taken to the provost, who reportedly told you that there was nothing that could be done for you and advised you to answer only what you could see or what you could read. How did his response also impact you? And how is that supposed to make any sense when a school is a learning environment meant to motivate and encourage in any sense of the word?
Secondary school, we had visually impaired students who had total vision loss, so their vision was pitch black. And they made me in charge of these students, especially the ones in my class. So all I did was read out her notes. I also assisted during exams. I read out her questions while she attempts all of them. So I felt that it's the same thing everywhere. It's been a long time ago, but then I thought nothing would have changed. So when I met the provost and he said I should write the ones I can see and there is nothing he can do for me, that was it. I felt, oh, okay, I think I've come to the end of the road, because if the provost would be able to say that to me, then who else is coming to my aid at this point?
Okay,
so I told him I wouldn't be continuing the exams.
Wow.
And before I leave, I need to sign out of the exams. And I said I won't be doing that because I am not leaving this exam willingly. You are forcing me out of the exam hall. So I dropped my question paper and I walked away. And nobody called me back. Nobody said anything to me.
All right, so as a registered nurse, Uche, I have to ask, do patients treat you differently or somehow when you're attending to them? Actually, it's two questions in one. Do your patients treat you differently or anyhow when you're attending to them? That's one. And the second one is, do you see this as an endemic problem? Does it reflect a larger issue in society? And, you know, the way institutions treat students, you know, people with disabilities, or how society even views people with disabilities? So two questions in one. I had to ask you like that, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No, my patients do not treat me any different than every other nurse in the hospital. And this is because it doesn't affect my job in any way. Before my diagnosis, I used to work in emergency. And post-diagnosis, I requested to be moved to a different unit where I don't have to run around a lot, because stress is one thing that your optic nerve cannot manage at all. The more stress you're exposed to, the more breaking down your optic nerve has to undergo. So, and my request was granted. I was moved to the pediatrics because they are babies. They have their mothers with them to do a whole lot of things for them. And I worked there for over 7-8 months. And I realized, oh, this is also telling on my vision. I requested again to be moved to the ICU. So in the ICU, you don't have so much to do. And even if you had so much to do, I am only concerned about the strenuous aspects of the job and not that it's affecting my procedures in any way. I give injections, I serve medications, the right dose and the right patient and all that.
Right.
And for times when I cannot read out some things in the folders, I have someone around to assist me with that. So it doesn't affect my job in any way. And my patients do not treat me any differently ever.
Uchechi, very quickly, we know that your story has now trended across social media. Now this interview is, which has prompted this interview. Has the school responded? Have they reached out to you? Has there been any team that has reached out to you regarding this incident and sort of redressed it?
Or even the board responsible for the exam? And like Catherine, very quickly, I'll combine this question. Does this mean you're not sitting for this exam at all again? What happens to your dream and your hope of becoming a mental health nurse? Just quickly get that in 30 seconds because of time.
Okay, the school, no team, nobody has reached out to me from the school since then. And this incident strengthened my resolve, because if mental health nurses can actually treat a student like this, I wonder how they treat their patients. So basically, a lot of person's mental health depends on my own dream of becoming a mental health nurse. So I'm not giving up. I have not given up. What I have actually given up on is becoming one in Nigeria. So I am continuing my dream, and I'm looking out for schools in the UK or in the US, just not in Nigeria, to further pursue my dream of becoming a mental health nurse. So.
And another hand bites the dust.
Uche, thank you so much. One thing I'll tell you is that I feel your positive energy, even from here, even in this conversation and even in this situation. And I just hope that you continue to hold on to it for as long as Nigeria has you around. But thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll continue to follow up on the story. All right?
My pleasure.
All right. And because of time, we have to go. I would love to take apart her conversation a little bit, and we might do that tomorrow morning. But right now, we have to get out of the studio. Thank you so much. It's just here on a Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. West African time.